Hi there, I'm Nancy Herring from Now We're Cooking. It's Tuesday, so it's time for tips, tricks, and treats. And we're continuing on with the dinner in a hurry idea. I have talked to a lot of people lately who just are out of ideas for what to fix for dinner. It takes too long, I don't have the stuff, what do I do? So I'm gonna do a skillet dinner, and I've already got a sheet pan dinner going. Skillet dinner is gonna be done very quickly. The sheet pan dinner takes a little bit longer, but it's just because it's cooking a little bit longer. We like to make calabacitas, and in New Mexico, everybody has their own recipe for calabacitas. It's basically squash, corn, green chili, whatever else you want to do. I have got to back up one thing. We buy a lot of sale vegetables, and sometimes you're like, what do I do with these things? Well, all of these dinners are good ideas to do with that. The reason I have a purple onion is because I got a sale bag of assorted vegetables and there was a big purple onion in it. So I'm using what I had. I didn't buy anything special. I want to saute the onion. I've got a little bit of butter and a little bit of olive oil going on in here. I don't want it to get too done. I'm going to add garlic, but I'm not going to add garlic yet because it will burn in a hurry. And this wasn't a lot of onion. What's fun about, these are more formulas than recipes. Depending on who you're feeding, you could make this for one. With a little bit of onion, a little bit of corn, a little bit of zucchini. You don't need to make a huge bunch. I'm feeding 3 or 4 people, so I'm making a little bit larger. This is both zucchini and another squash that was in a bag. And so I'm gonna throw those in. I'm gonna add my garlic, and I'm gonna saute them a little while. Then I'm going to add some corn. I'm going to add the green chili. And to make this a complete meal as opposed to a side dish, I do have some sausage. I have kielbasa in one of these dishes, and I have just smoked sausage in the other. The reason I like to do those two is you can buy them, they store well, they freeze well. This is my handy dandy garlic press that you do not have to peel the garlic. And what stays behind is the husk. So my garlic went in there, nice little pieces, and I didn't have to do any chopping or dicing. So I just want this to become friends with the other product. We're gonna let it go a minute. So the prep work for this was basically chopping vegetables. Matthew did the chili earlier. I'm using frozen corn and chopping this. So we're going to get this together, and then I'm going to show you what's on the sheet pan, and we're going to let this cook. This won't, man, garlic and onions and butter is one of my favorite aromas. It smells so pretty. I'm going to sprinkle, we use a product called Livia's, which is a salt, pepper, garlic combination, and I'm just going to sprinkle that. I'm going to add the sausage because I want it to brown a teeny bit. If you wanted larger pieces of sausage, that would be great. If you wanted chicken, that would be great. If you wanted to brown ground beef, that would be great. As I say, this is the easiest for me to do because it's pre-cooked. All I have to do is heat it. And if I don't use it all, that's okay. It heats really well. So these all are just running and gunning in here. Okay, I'm going to switch gears a minute. We're going to talk about, and let this do its thing, and then in a minute I'm going to put in the corn, and I'm going to put in the chili. And I'll probably add, probably will add a little bit of liquid, so I'm going to go ahead and get that. And I'm going to put a little bit of, forgot this stuff. This is granular chicken bouillon from Knorr, and I'm just going to do a little bit of that. So instead of adding straight water if I need to, it'll have a little bit more flavor. I could also just put the granular product straight in there, but chances are I'm going to need some liquid. We put a little bit of cheese in our calabacitas. Some people use all kinds of different cheeses. I just have a teeny little bit of grated cheddar cheese, and I had a little helper who ate quite a bit of it, so there's not near as much as I started with. So it'll have a little idea of cheese, but not a full cheese. You can see that these are not brown, they're just nicely cooking. And to keep this momentum going, I'm going to go ahead and put in the corn. This is frozen corn. You can use canned corn. If you're patient enough to cut corn off the cob, you can do that. Whatever's the easiest for you. And I'm gonna put, was this hot chili? Okay, he says it's hot chili. I'm not gonna put it all in. I will save some to the side because if it's too hot, I won't be able to eat it. But if I leave some out, then we can add some more later. And I do want a little bit of the chicken broth mixture, and then I'm gonna put the lid on it, let it do its thing. Not a lot, just a little bit. The burner's on fairly high, and I'm gonna put a lid on it and just let it go. Okay? So that's a calabacita casserole idea. The other thing that I did earlier is a sheet pan dinner. I do a lot of vegetables on a sheet tray. Sheet tray is just another word for a cookie sheet. So don't think, well, I don't have a sheet tray. Any pan with sides is a sheet tray, and we have all kinds of sizes. So if you're just cooking for you, use a small sheet tray, put your veggies on that. That's how much you need. I usually do a lot because I like to do different things with them. And I'm gonna take them out, we're gonna talk our way through them. And I just steamed up my glasses to no end. So, it's a lot of steam, and I wish there was smell-o-vision because it smells so good. When I do something like this, I turn the oven up fairly hot. It's at 450 to 475 degrees. I also like to preheat my cookie sheet. So I put an empty cookie sheet with some oil on it, tablespoon or so of oil in the oven so it's hot when I put my veg in. I have a friend who refers to this as burning vegetables. She says, I burn vegetables once a week. And her cookie sheet is dark, and she said that's the only thing I use that cookie sheet for, so I'm happy with that. This is a great way to use up those bits and pieces of things in your vegetable drawer. You got 2 carrots, cut them up. You got a potato or 2, cut them up. You got a zucchini, you got onions, you got red bell peppers, you got whatever you need. There are some legit recipes that go along with this. For fall, I was reading about using sausage and apples and onions and potatoes, which sounded great. I didn't have all those things. So what I did, I had the rest of my purple onion, I had some potatoes, and the potatoes I did first, and I cut them small, and I heated them up. I heated the pan, and I put the potatoes in because I wanted them to be brown and crispy. Then I started adding the other vegetables, sort of in order of what will be cooked the most, what needs to be cooked the most. So I did zucchini, and then later on I did the peppers, and then the last thing I did was the sausage. The sausage really just needs to be heated. It's already cooked. But I just think this is such a pretty dish. And I made rice to go over it. You don't need anything to go over it. Depends on who you're feeding. But this is such a forgiving recipe. And whatever combination of things you like, I sprinkled some Mexican seasoning that we sell, and I sprinkled the salt, pepper, garlic. If I was at home and my rosemary and my oregano outside are growing great, I would probably snip a little of that and put it on now. But as it stands, this is ready to eat. You think, well, I can't eat all that. Save some of the rest of it. Chop it up small, mix it with cream cheese, put it on a bagel, and you've got a great veggie bagel. Chop it up small, put it with scrambled eggs. There's just many things you can do with it. So play with your recipe, play with your ingredients. If you've got tomatoes, if you've got some cherry tomatoes that aren't looking as perky as they could, put those in here too. Anything goes. There's some things that you may or may not like the flavor of. Roasted cabbage is something some people love and some people hate. Roasted beets are another one. Roasted beets are wonderful, but they tend to cause everything to turn that beautiful color. So it depends on what you want. But I started this about, give or take, about an hour ago. I chopped everything up and then I put one thing in the oven and went off and did some more things. Then I came back and put another thing, did some more things. So it took a little more cooking time, but in the actual effort, it didn't take long at all. So Sheetpan Skillet, 2 ideas. Let's see what's going on here. And I just want to see how the zucchinis are doing. So I need to give a little taste and see if a zucchini is done, if it's tender enough. It needs a teeny bit more. So I'm going to let it cook and put the cover back on. And right before I serve it, I'm going to sprinkle some cheese on it and let the cheese melt. I've also cubed up cream cheese before and kind of stirred through it so you get kind of a more creamy, or you can not do any of that. Did your mom put milk in it? I've seen people put milk or heavy cream in it too to give it that nice creamy texture. But that's all there is to it. So 2 very fast ideas that you can do when you get home. In the veggies, a lot of times I will roast a tray of vegetables on Sunday, and then I can use them all week for various things. So play around with them, get some ideas. If you don't have a sheet tray with sides, it's a great investment. If you don't have a skillet that's a 1-pan, I bet you do have one of those. Give it a shot. Other things we used were just peelers and knives and cutting boards, and I'll bet you have all those things too. So give it a shot. It's a way to incorporate more vegetables, and they taste different because they're cooked and they're not raw. So those are my ideas for 2 quick and easy dinners: calabacitas with sausage and roasted peppers with sausage. I'm Nancy from Now We're Cooking. We are open Monday through Saturday from 11 to 4. The weather's starting to turn fall, even though it's officially fall. We're still in the high 80s some days, but it's time to think about your fall recipes and your fall cooking, and we're here to help you. So come by and see us. We'd love to have you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.